Hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Hello, 𝙽𝙴𝚁𝙸𝚂. How are you? Good to see you. And yeah, come back. Well, we'll see. Hopefully a proper comeback. Hello, Albus. Hi. You're still moving. Well, good luck with that. Hopefully it ends soon and you will be in your apartment, just chilling. I'm doing good, good. Thank you. So, what are we gonna work on today? So, ideally, the biggest goal is to properly implement boss monsters, their stats, fine-tune everything and stuff like that. But to do that, I need a lot of additional stuff. Some of that I've been working on previously and somewhat finished. But yeah, I need some more stuff to make it work. And the biggest one would be two things, is combat simulations, which is like a scenario of a combat. Like, for example, we have character 1, character 2, and we have a boss. And we tell everyone what to do at what point of time. But we can run this extremely fast, so we don't have to finish, or we don't have to wait for it to finish in real time. We can just run the simulation in a couple of seconds, and it tells us the result. To that, I had to rewrite the way my server works with time. But that's been done already. It works fine. I'm satisfied with that. So now we can actually manipulate the server time and manually adjust it or speed it up or whatever we want. But a second thing that I probably need, most likely I will need it, is I need to rewrite the AI system, because the current one was actually inspired by Ragnarok Online 1 servers, because I didn't know better, to be honest. And that's not very good. Like, it's very limited. I cannot implement some advanced AI stuff that I want. And right now everything is crammed into one big class that basically does everything, and it basically works on running or using certain skills that are available to the NPC. And it does that in an infinite loop, basically. It just tries to use available skills, and there are some very basic conditions that it can check. So, I need to rewrite that thing, probably, most likely, to be able to write AI for characters. So that's another thing. So right now I have like this rough draft of a simulation. So we create a zone instance. We disable automatic clock, initialize the instance. We spawn a monster and 2 characters. And then we run a loop that just advances the clock by 34 milliseconds. So basically, like one normal combat tick. We need to make this a little bit better. It updates everything and everyone. And then, yeah, we have just like a bunch of skills like heal that needs to be used by player 1, I guess. Yeah, player 1 is our... Wait, that's not correct. Yeah, so it's just a very rough draft that I need to rewrite, and basically probably I would need to... Oh yeah, okay, I remember now. So to make this work properly and make it configurable and nice to work with, I either need to like create a new, probably XML based language that describes the scenario of a combat. So for example, what skills we use at what time, or do we use them in a loop or whatever. And so I can then like have multiple of these script files, and I can run them when I want to. And another option would be to, yeah, like completely rebuild the AI system, so I can build this scenario based on the actual, like by describing the AI. So I have like a priest AI that will like look for party member health and so on, and it will decide what to do. But I would still probably need a scenario file just to initialize all of that. So yeah, AI, not that kind of AI. Like the actual logical AI, not language models. Yeah, this is very messy that I'm doing here right now, but that was just a draft, a proof of concept. I'm pretty sure it still works, even though it's a very old one. Actually, I'm curious if it actually does work. Oh wait, it does run on behalf of player 2. So what is this? We have heal, I guess. Yeah, that's heal level 2. And we initialize it from the player 2 perspective, which is the priest. And we use it on player 1. So we're trying to heal knight. Okay, yeah, I remember. We're trying to heal knight in a loop. Yeah, also another hard-coded condition is when the knight's health drops below 300 health, and then we start casting the skill. And then what is this? This is auto attack. Do you know date when Koreans brought last big update to the game? That was, I believe, March 20th or something, 2008. I knew that date, but right now cannot remember it off the top of my head. Actually, I have it written down somewhere. One sec. How do I... Yeah, I need to hide my screen just in case, so I don't reveal. Yeah. So, where was it? Yeah, it was March 26th of 2008. That was the last big update. They added the second non-leaf dungeon, or just non-leaf dungeon. They changed the interface to the clear version. Previously, they had this cog themed UI. They added monster skills, like very basic magic skills, basically to every monster. That was weird, but at least they did something, I guess. And I think they implemented upgrades for normal equipment pieces. So like previously we had like altar stones for weapons only, and they added like, what was it called? Parasite stones and I think altar stones as well, but for the equipment. And I think that was it. Then there were like a couple of small patches, I guess, bug fixes. And then like in the period of probably 1 year, the server became completely unstable, unplayable, completely like constantly crashing. And then they just turned it off. After about a year, I think, in 2009, they shut it down completely. So yeah, this is player 1, Knight, just using auto attacks on the boss in a loop. Okay. Okay, I guess at that time, in 2008, it was already clear that the game is not gonna survive. Like, I guess some, let's say, commotions started inside Gravity and so on. Like, a lot of people told that there were like massive layoffs, and basically the whole or almost everyone who was working on the Gate of the World was laid off. So yeah. Okay, so I have this basically draft simulate command. Oh right, that's another thing that I need to do is I wanted to properly implement console commands that also integrate nicely with the dependency injection system. And I wanted to leverage the newish Microsoft, or not even Microsoft now, it's a system. I think I have it. Yeah, that was the last thing that I was working on. System command line package. So now it's released finally after like 5 years, I guess. But yeah. Yeah, here I was experimenting with that. Okay. But the problem is I need to make some kind of abstraction so I can plug in commands, and also that the dependency injection knows which command is running, so it actually can like configure the services properly. So here, for example, I don't want to start the vault connection when I am trying to simulate something. And I need to add the simulate command to the dependency injection if it's been chosen. Yeah. Okay. But the problem is we already have this host builder that actually works with the command line in the same way that like normal host application builder works with the command line. But I really don't like the way it works. Also, when I implemented the API service, it basically broke some stuff. Well, it didn't break, but it's not nice. So yeah, we have a separate web host builder. Previously, I was only relying on the app host builder, but for this one, I need the web application builder. And they are actually completely different internally. They are not API compatible. MCP, AI, MCP. I think your LLM is broken. Okay, so first of all, I want to see if the simulation is still working. And I'm gonna just comment that out. Simulate. And let's try to run that thing. Can we do it like that? No, it's not that kind of AI. It's a very logical logic. Zero magic, zero neurons. Yeah, it does run. Oh my god. Test complete. So let's see, that's not even everything. But yeah, that's a complete simulation of path health. And it stays the same. Also, our knight is dead, that's why it stays the same. Yeah, we only see the last moments of this combat. So let's make it. Why is player 2 stays alive? The boss didn't target player 2, I guess. But yeah, for this simulation, we can probably add a condition that the both players have to be alive. Right? Parentheses, yeah, okay. Also, I want to have it as a separate window. One sec. That's better. Okay, so player 1 is dead. Let's see, do we have the start of the combat? No. That's another thing that I need to solve. I need to only display the updates, and I need to display them nicely, like in the form of a table or something like that. So maybe CSV output would be good. Yes, I think that would be perfect. Then we can view it even in VS Code. And I only need that to be like, I only need another row when certain values change. Aha. So we have another requirement, right? So let me actually close this. So what do we need? We need to watch certain attributes. There we go. We can tie to actually the attribute object. I don't think we actually have events on the attribute level, but we have like is dirty flag. Actually, let me refresh that in my mind. Health attribute, current. What do I have? Notify changed. So we do have, yes, we do have an event. Okay, perfect. So we can actually subscribe to events of the attributes that we're interested in and add them as columns in the output file. There we go. So it should be before this loop. So that's gonna be, I guess, a dictionary. And it's gonna be watched values. String is gonna be the name that we can just arbitrarily set. And then this is gonna be, what's the base class of that? 𝙽𝙴𝚁𝙸 attribute. Why no suggestions? Hello? What's going on? Syntax error. That's comma, right? No, it was not a comma. What did I enter? Weird. Guess that's why I didn't have the suggestions. Yeah. Okay, good. So I have watched values, or even watched attributes. And we do boss health, right? It's gonna be boss. Not component. What? Oh, that's the controller. Actually, wait, I do have it already. I can just copy it like that. So we watch for both health, and then we watch for player 1 and 2, health and mana. And we do the same for player 2. Actually, it should be like that. Okay, so we have the attributes that we're interested in. And I need to subscribe to their changes. Okay. So this will be for each attribute and watch the attributes. We do attribute. What? What? That's a public event. Oh, key value pair. Yeah, my bad. I'm resting. There is no refactoring anymore. Yeah, right. Because I didn't want to use Copilot. Now I don't have the suggestions for the refactoring, but okay. We're gonna have yeah, at least we have this. can create a method. Good. So now we only look for gauge attribute events. Right. But what do we need from this old value, new value? Technically, we don't need that. We just need the current value, and that's it. Actually, we don't need anything. We just need to fire a logic that will output a line in the output file. But for that, we need this watched attributes collection to be a member of the class. Parameter. Butterfingers. Yes, that's all that we need here. And then here we just print a new line. And we will, for that, we will create a separate method. Print combat status. And that will just, do that. For now, just gonna use the log system. But, it's not gonna use that. It's gonna output a time. That's first thing that we need. Tick. How do we do that? Okay. I don't think we can actually tie ourselves to the event, but now I actually need to use these events. But yeah, I thought that we had like dirty flags. Ah, okay, I remember now. We have dirty flags on the entity level, or at least in battle info level, and that uses these same events. When one of the events fire, it updates the dirty flag on the whole like entity level, and then we can like send updates and stuff. So I probably need to do something like that here. Oh, that's actually gonna be really easy. we just need a flag here somewhere. For now, like a very simple boolean. Watch the attributes changed. Right. And then when this event fire, we just do this. Watch the attributes changed. True. Right. And then here, we do what? If watch the attributes changed, we reset this. And then this print combat status. And from here we can supply whatever whatever info we have. So I'm interested in tick. Let's see. Tick number. Wait, what is that? Current tick. Oh, that's tick count. Okay. And yeah, I need the elapsed time. And I guess the difference. Total time, elapsed time, or just delta time. So current tick, delta time. That's all that we need right now from here. And I guess we can supply the watched attributes and then remove them from here. Well, not gonna do that right now. And then here we need current tick and delta time. But that's not the delta time that we're gonna be interested in the output and file. I need to know the change from the previous one. Okay. So this is gonna be total time, right? So just time span. And this is gonna be called total time. Oops. And I need to calculate that from the previous one. So let's add another field. Last print time. No. Last watched attribute change time, I guess. No. Last print time for now. And then here we can output that. So that's gonna be what? Let's use a string builder. Append current tick, comma. Not even gonna bother encode in proper CSV because we're just gonna have values here. Like only numbers. So we do current tick. We add total time. Do we have some format in here? No. I need to remember that in the end, I need to update last print time equals total time. And I need to output the change. So this is going to be total time minus this last print time. That's going to be our change. And then we just output the attributes. So for each, not attribute, KVP in this watched attribute, we append, no, we don't need the name. We only need the actual values. How do we display this? Yeah, just health and mana. Oh, I guess that's fine. Current value. That's all that we're interested in. And then we just output this for now to a log. And this can be commented out. Yeah, I don't have this like a tag anymore. Skill cast, skill use. Let's remove that and just watch for the values. But I also want to print a header. It's gonna be similar. Oops. Instead we just use the names. So tick. Total time. Total time delta. And then here we do keys. And at the start, before we do the loop, before we do the loop, we do this, print status header. Yeah, now that I can simplify the collection with this collection initializer. Let's see what it's gonna look like now. Okay. Also, it was way faster this time, I guess because I was outputting a line into the log and into the console every take. It was so slow. Now it's much faster. It's now 1 second. Previously it was 2 minutes. Okay, so I just made the whole thing much faster. The problem is it's not actually showing. No, it's simulating 2 minutes. It's fine, it's okay. So yeah, it was simulating 2 minutes. I didn't have the actual runtime for that. Okay. So now if I just output that into a file, I can have it in a nice table, but even here I can see the pass health goes up actually. Why? I guess it's healing itself. Yeah, that's another thing that I would like to see what's going on, like what skill is being used and by whom. How do we do that? Well, still keeping the table structure. I guess we can add just another another column called like action or something like that. And we just describe in human readable language that entity whatever, cast skill, whatever, right? How do we do that, by the way? Because here we only manually initiate the skills by the players. The boss is just using its own AI to use its own skills, and I still want to see them. Do we have any kinds of events on the controller? Because I don't want to plug into the signals, because that would be the proper way, I guess. But I think we had some kind of event. I just don't remember. I just don't remember where those are located. Apply action. Notify skill action. So yeah, we have the signals, but to handle the signals, I would need to create a custom component. Okay, this is skill action effect, right? Send skill action. There's an actual Windows XP or skin in a newer version. It's neither. It's just overlay for the stream, not a real taskbar. I'm using Windows 11. It's just the theme of the stream. But yeah, all of this is just signals. I don't think there is an event except maybe we have something in one of the controllers that actually handles the signals. And another thing is we need to somehow watch all of them. Or we can create another entity like an observer that will just listen for the signals and do whatever it needs to actually render that in the output log. Like a completely third-party observer that just listens to the signals that are happening around these entities. Don't really like how that looks like. Let's see, I remember creating some kind of events, but I believe that's on the character level. I mean, only for the characters. Right. And only on the controller level, so it should be somewhere in the zone server, controller components. What do we have in the battle? Do we have any kinds of events? Damage table. Maybe damage table would be an interesting thing to output somehow. Is there another streaming platform besides Twitch? Can see message about XP on screen. What? Can't see message about XP on screen. Oh, it was there. If you're talking about the message from Forge user, it was there. Yeah, it's popping up. But yeah, I'm only streaming on Twitch. I'm thinking about trying multi-streaming to both Twitch and YouTube, but I don't know. Right now, I'm not really interested in doing that. Forward and flat. What's going on? I'm so confused. But yeah, when we have the events for entity died, I need some kind of event when entity uses a skill. Yeah, there is no such thing. Actually, maybe in the quest component, but again, only for the players. What do we have here? No, not even here. How do we handle the quests to use a skill? I don't remember. YouTube would be good. Yeah, I was thinking about it, but yeah, I need to properly set up the server because and I don't want to just stream into multiple, like I don't want to output multiple RTMP streams from my PC right now. I could do that, that's an easy fix. I could just add another, like I think there was a plugin or maybe even now it's a built-in feature to like add another output stream and stream to YouTube. I was even testing that previously, but I want to do this properly, and I want to actually set up a streaming server for myself. So I can only, so I will only output one stream to the server, and then the server sends to 2 channels. And then maybe later I will be able to set up bonding, because technically I have 2 ISP connections to my PC. And I can theoretically send the same RTMP stream to both over both connections at the same time. It's just Twitch doesn't support like a backup server like YouTube has. But I want to like properly set up bonding, so I have my own server that receives 2 same RTMP streams, combines them into one, and then sends them to 2 separate channels, one for Twitch, one for YouTube. But yeah, that's for later. I don't really want to bother with that right now. Sometimes it has 1080p source chase only. Yeah, that's because I'm not an affiliate even. I'm just a normal Twitch user. Sometimes, yeah, I don't have the transcoding options. Yeah, like right now, it's only 1080p. So sorry about that. But yeah, that's not something that I control. It's just Twitch decides which streamers they want to transcode to lower resolutions. Restreaming have any minute? What do you mean? Yeah, like there are third-party services that are doing the same, but they're not doing that in a way that I want. I want a complete control over what's going on, and I know how to do that. It's just I didn't get to that yet. I want to do that, but yeah, maybe a little bit later. Because yeah, probably later this year I will have a lot of problems with electricity, and because of that there will be problems with internet stability. So I want to have like a stable stream over 2 separate ISP connections. So if one goes down due to the power outage, another one stays the same. Because right now, theoretically, I still have right now 2 connections, but if one goes down, and that was the one that Twitch was receiving my stream from, if another connection starts sending the same stream to Twitch, Twitch blocks that. Like it's really stupid. It only expects the packets from the same IP address. But yeah, I want to properly solve this and have both redundancy on my side and ability to send streams to both Twitch and YouTube. And maybe something else. Like I have some other ideas as well. So what do I want to figure out? I need to take a look at the quests, steps, use skill. How does that work? On skill action effect. Oh. So it's actually a component that subscribes to the signal. Oh, crap. For some reason, I thought that I created an event and signals fires the event, and then the skill quest step listens to that event. But no, it actually listens to the signal. So yeah, if I want to display some skill information here. Hello, Aninia. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hello, hello. So yeah, I want to see the actual like skill events in the log, but to do that, I would have to actually subscribe to signals, and I'm not sure even how. So one way would be to just add some kind of component to one of the entities. Because, for example, if the bus uses a skill, the bus itself will also receive the same signal that it used a skill. So I can theoretically just subscribe to one of these entities to receive all the signals that I'm interested in, or I can spawn some kind of observer entity that will only listen to the signals. I don't know. Because we don't have any like global signal routing thing, and we shouldn't have that. The signals only should be sent to the entities that are interested in them, that are somehow related to those signals. So maybe when we're spawning something, we can... where are the components? Oh, it's in the factory, I guess. But yeah, we can just add a component even after the entity is spawned. And it will listen for the signal. And then what would it do? You're fine. Sorry for the delay. No problem at all. Thank you for stopping by. So I guess we need another flag, or maybe rename this one. So we print the status. No, actually, no. We need a separate status, but with an additional event description, like boss used skill on player 1, something like that. Also, we can extract the names directly from here. Yeah, I guess it's a generic class. Although, why? Spawn character. Ah, yeah, okay. Okay, I'm not gonna bother with that right now. I need to solve the scale issue, because I really want to see that when somebody uses something. Yeah, basically what I need is I need some kind of something like we have in game, the system chat that shows who used what skill, what are the damages, and so on. I'm not really sure how we can do that. Yeah, I think I would have to have like controller component. So let's create one. And it's gonna be simulation observer component. What was that? Skill action effect. And for now, let's just test this. Wait. How do I... How do I pass a log to this? I guess, yeah, just directly in the constructor. I cannot use dependency injection here. That's another thing that I wanted to solve, but that's for later. I want to have proper dependency injection on the components, controller components and entity components. The problem is those are dynamic, those are created when the entity spawns. It's complex. But yeah, probably I just need to have like a separate dependency injection container for that. That should be fine. But that's for later. Here I just need iLogger. of this thing. Or for now, just iLogger probably would be fine. So here we can output something just for testing for now. Actually, let's do it log trace for now. And we're gonna do something like, what do we have here? Skill action, source target, skill, primary, secondary, what else do we need? Result, effect. So, action. Yeah, that's the only thing that we have here. So I get the action, then action source, action target, it applies the skill, and the result is gonna be effect. Result. Effect, which could be null. Then here we have effect kind that we're interested in. What else? Value. That should be good enough for now. And now we just add this observer component to, I guess, the bus. Or player one. Probably would be more logical. So player one, where is it? There it is. Add component, new simulation observer, and we pass our own log for now, at least. And that should do it. What's going on here? No. Metal component is now ambiguous. There we go. So I added that. And now, if we run this thing, we should see all the skills. At least the ones that player one sees. What? Class and component? Ambiguous reference. Oops. Yeah, I guess. Did I notice another error? Huh. And we see nothing. Oh, I didn't need the component. Right. Can I create it during spawn? Because yeah, when we do controller init, it initializes the components. You can manually initialize that component, but no. Otherwise, I would have to somehow integrate into the controller factory. Or yeah, I don't want to add this component to every player. So for now, I guess we're just gonna manually initialize it. And to do that, we need to store it in the variable, add it, and we initialize it. We could even skip the initialize call and subscribe in the constructor, but I want to make it simpler. There we go. I need better descriptors, and skill info doesn't have the string method, which you probably should add. Do we have skill? We don't. But yeah, probably I should create I forget how I override in this code. That's how. Also, yeah, remember now why I don't have character names and PC names in here, because that's a toString method of an abstract class. But maybe we can tackle that. That's the entity, right? Yeah. And it's very simple. Also, observer, let's remove this. I was going to like make it look like some kind of function call, but yeah, it looks weird. Yeah, let's actually implement this thing. So here, we're gonna have something like name. Actually, let's just use string builder. And then so if it's a character, we need to retrieve character info. That we have that like that we have the character name. Then we need NPC. Oops. Oh, and this can be null. I don't have editor name in the prototype. That's weird. Or maybe it is connected to the editor name. No, it's not. Huh. That's okay. And we need another one for structure. Also for NPCs and structures, I need prototype IDs. And I can actually do that really easily. What? Model ID, yeah. And here we just add a comma. Talk about the Printera. Up top there is a board with wanted characters, including some female workers. It's funny, yeah. Yeah, they have like Kafra pictures there. Yeah, pity to lose this cool vibe. Yeah, I've been thinking about this. I've received a lot of positive feedback about this event that we're having right now. People do like it, and I also enjoy these locations. Sometimes I want to visit them. But yeah, it's really hard to like integrate them into the game because those are basically the same resources, just earlier versions, and it's not like I can split them easily. But I think I can theoretically do that. So I will try to do that later and actually have them in the game permanently as separate zones. I have a few ideas about that. So it's not going to be completely gone. I still want to bring them back into the game. It's just not in the way that they are right now, because right now it's just basically a complete replacement of the current zones. And I had to adjust all the NPC spawns, all the monster spawns, structure spawns. I didn't finish the structure spawns because it's just so many of them. All the quest markers, map images, mapping of the name of the, how do you even call it, like coordinate projections between the actual zone and the map, and so on and so on. There's a lot of stuff that I had to change just to make this event work. But what I want to try to do is, first of all, like completely separate the resources in terms of have separate packs named differently on the like game engine level, and then just have them as new completely separate zones with their own NPC spawns, monster spawns, do everything from scratch, properly implement navigation meshes and stuff like that, because right now all the data is missing. I had to disable that for this event, so we don't have proper monster navigation, we don't have like geodata and all other stuff that the server needs to function properly. So right now the game is a little bit broken, but I have an idea how to make it work and have those locations. So we'll see. I'll try to do that, because I see you guys enjoy that, and I enjoy that too. And I would like to see those locations in the game in a more permanent way, but not like they are right now. Because yeah, right now the game is basically broken. Some quests are completely not doable because, for example, some structures may not spawn where they're supposed to, or they're accessible. Why do I still have this? This doesn't work. Oh, okay, I know why. It's actually unsafe to use Stream Builder in here, but still gonna use that. Yeah, that's why I didn't do that, because yeah, it's technically unsafe, but I can do it in another way. So I can do like toString EX, toString extended. that will include all the information. But the default runtime test train will output simple data. Yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna have test train EX. We're gonna remove all of that. That way our normal test train will still be safe. And here we can just call test train EX. And the source and the target. Probably we don't even need the result. That's yeah, that's like an error code. Well, actually, no, I do need it. It's just I could write it in a more humanly readable way. It's okay. There we go. Now, how do we combine this properly? I want to include this data into the CSV. Also, yeah, because it's... I can theoretically just add this line as a final column in this output. Also, another thing is I'm not gonna see like auras, but I think it's fine. This information is good enough. I can actually separate all of this into multiple columns. Like not just one column, but have like skill source, skill target, skill name, result, effect, value. Yeah, why not? Okay, so now I need to somehow trigger this print method when we receive a signal. So I guess we're gonna just create an event. Yeah. And then we don't even need the log. Well, we didn't need it in the first place, but let's do public event. Something like that. And then we subscribe to that event in here. Where do we create that thing? There. Oh. We need to print the status, but we don't have access to the current taken total delta time at that point. Or do we? We do. It's in the zone instance. And the delta time... Ooh. Delta time is more complex. Zone clock? No, that's clock. That's... Wait. Zone clock. Yeah, tick count is zone clock tick count. Yeah, our delta time is completely separate. We can make it a field. Then we have both the access to the tick through the zone instance, and we have access to the delta time because it's global. Let's do that for now. Maybe later I can come up with something more intelligent. Or I can just create a closure here. No, I don't want to. then we can probably get rid of these variables because we have access to the total time from the zone instance. Wait, where is the zone instance now? Yeah, this method doesn't know about any of that. But here we can probably extract it. There was like current zone or something like that. Or we can just extract it from source. This looks really weird, I don't like it. Closure would look much nicer, I guess. But I want something that works really fast. On the other hand, this is not fast. How would I do that if I implement this properly? Not as a draft with hard-coded logic, but actually some runner that works based on a scenario script. I have no idea yet. So we create zone instance, right? We spawn all the entities. We subscribe to the events. And we just start running the game. Let's assume that this all is gonna be gone, like all these manual skill calls, and we're just gonna update the entities instead. They will use their own AI to execute the skills. So our whole purpose here is to initialize the zone instance, spawn entities, subscribe to the entity events, run the game in simulation mode, and output what's happening. That's it. Oh, and terminate the game when a certain condition is met. So, for example, one of the players died. But yeah, that's the whole logic here on the higher level. So zone instance is always going to be here, so I can make it a property. Delta time is also going to be there all the way. So yeah, let's assign this as a field of the class. In these simulations, we will always have a single zone instance. We don't need to do anything else. It's not like we will ever have cross-zone instance connections here. So that way we can get rid of this. We now have the zone instance. Update time, right? We already have it stored. Okay, so print status can become much simpler then. So current tick is this zone instance tick count. Total time is this delta time total time. And then, yeah, this one's different. We have to use the difference between total time and last print time if we want to output the difference within the entries of the CSV file. Last print time, let's do assign this to a variable. Okay. So then here, I now can just directly output the line. So if somebody's watched attribute is changed, we can output a line right away. I don't think it's going to be a problem. We don't need any kind of cache because the way I implemented it here is, oh, I don't need that. It only outputs once per tick if any of the watched attribute changed. Which is okay, actually. I want it like that, yes. And here, we just trigger it, and it will print the status, but where is it? Oh, that's the header. So we do this, print combat status, but we also need to add those additional columns. And I can just add something like that. Then if effect is not null, then we add a few more columns, right? Which is source. Where's the header? Source, target, skill, result, effect, and value. And here it's gonna be like, where's that thing? Can just copy this. Well, not copy, but copy from this. Drag. And this should work, in theory. There we go. Oh, I forgot commas. Oh, oops. We also have commas in here. I didn't want to add proper CSV escaping, but I don't know. Why is the session ID for characters equals to character ID? Yeah, this is why I manually created like that. I don't use the session pool, which is okay. But okay, let's see what's going on here. I need to input this into, wait. Yeah, right now this is hard to read. But I wanted to just compare what happens in the line with the skill as opposed to the notification about changed attributes. Maybe we only need the skills to be there. But I am afraid that it can produce delayed results. Like here, for example, no, it's the same. Skill action effect. What exactly is this event? It's just the fact of using a skill, not necessarily the application of the event. Also, it's only sent to the source and the target. So if we are a third-party observer, or for example, we're player 2, we never see these events. So probably I need to subscribe to entity uses skill or entity fails skill. Also, yeah, we have delays. Because yeah, this is the same signal that's being listened to by the entities themselves to apply the results. For example, receive damage. But there is also applied effect signal, which is sent to the same entity. Maybe this is the signal that we need to listen to, but that signal is only for the receiving entity. Now, it's all, well, that one specific signal gets created when you receive the skill action, and it can be either on the receiving and on the source side. So if we are the target, we trigger these activities. Normal, critical. And when we are the source, then we are used something, right? Rage consumed, yeah. Stuff like that. Maybe we can subscribe to this signal. Only listen to it on each target, so we can subscribe to every entity. We don't have to have a separate observer. And then on that particular moment, the effects are already applied, so we can output them, and we don't have to subscribe to any attributes. We can only just output the attributes that we're interested in. Right. Maybe that would be the right way. So we forget about listening to attribute changes, but we subscribe, we add this simulation observer component to every single entity that we spawn. Also, yeah, we don't need the log anymore. But we still need to initialize this. Or I can just move it to the constructor and forget about initializing. Then I don't have to have this variable. Now I still need to do it. Can I do it like this? Also, yeah, I need to change the event. Effect applied. Right, and that is completely different from what we had. Have action and applied event. I don't think we are interested in the applied effect. Actually, we are. So for this one, let's do ice collection and ice kill effect here. For now, we're gonna comment out this thing. If I change my mind. And let's comment out this thing for now. Oops, I know what's wrong. No, wait. Ah. Yeah, now we only have actual events. I still need to somehow output this. Well, it's actually really easy. So, first of all, I need separators. And then we just add double quotes. Because we know for sure double quote will not be a part of the name. You can just do it like that. Okay, let's see. So source, target, scale. Then we have our result, effect, value. I think now we have a proper comprehensive log of the simulation. And we can probably just save it as CSV. I think there was an option in VS Code. Align, there it is. So now we can see it as a proper table. So have tick, delta time. Man, this is weird. Oh, I know why. Now we are actually duplicating every single event. Yeah, we have, well, not every single, but a lot of them. That's because we're only supposed to output this for if we are the target, if the entity is a target, right? How do we do that? Where was it? Activity. If action target is our own entity, right? But here, we don't have a context. Actually, we have, but not in here. We have it in the observer component. We have access to our entity. Actually, we don't really, but we can add this. Then we can do it like this. And only then we trigger when action target is the current entity that we are listening to. So only when we receive some kind of damage or whatever, we can do it like that. Also, we can actually output auras exactly like this. That's key. Now I need to update the constructor, right? Okay. Now it should work properly without duplicating lines. Hello, 𝙽𝙴𝚁𝙸𝚂. How are you doing? Hello, hello. Where was that align option? Wait, where was it? Oh, okay. Doing fine? Yeah, I'm doing good as well. Okay, now we have like, wait, this is 0, why this is 0? Oh, it's a different action actually. So that's priest casting heal on the knight, and this is the boss attacking the knight as well. Okay. So this solves the problem with an observer that we only needed to have only one of them. Now we can just add the component to every single entity, and it will only listen to the skill effects applied to that particular entity. And now we can actually watch the log of the combat. And I'm actually gonna rename this player 1, player 2, because I don't really see the correlation here. So instead of player 1 is knight. And this is the priest. Okay. The emote is funny. I like it. Blah. So, yeah, I wanted to update this file. Yeah, now I can actually see the whole history of the combat. You can probably even like export that into or even just open it with LibreOffice and create a graph of health and stuff like that. So yeah, this is very useful. I need to figure out how to output that into an actual file instead of copying and pasting that. Did I? Yeah. Okay. There we go. There's something wrong with the headers. Source is always empty. Huh. Why? Wait, what's wrong here? Take 2 times. Then our attributes. Those look fine. Then source is empty. Oh, that's the header. This is why. There we go. Now I have proper source, target, skill, result, effect. Actually, result is always gonna be none here because otherwise the effect is not applied. Right? Let's double check that. Yeah, if result is not successful. So yeah, we don't care about the result here. We can remove that from the file. Normal, no damage, that's self-heal. So yeah, now we can see that 𝙽𝚴𝚂 is healing itself, and it's not the summons. Well, yeah, I'm working without the summons right now. But yeah, it healed itself. Yeah, from 1786 to 2246. Avoid it. The knight avoided the 𝙽𝚴𝚂 attack somehow. I don't remember what's that the case. So why does knight die? Because priest ran out of mana, I guess. So yeah, here priest casted heal on knight, restored 297 mana, 297 health, but yeah, the mana is now. So how much did it consume? My brain's not working. 94 mana, yeah. It's not enough. It was enough for one more heal. And yeah, then the knight just dies. Well, 𝙽𝙴 is self-healing. Okay, this is super useful. Now I can see the whole combat. Why bar avatars hide my avatar when I inactive in chat? Because that's how it works. It only shows the people who are active in chat. Like previously, like long time ago, it showed everyone who's in chat right now, but that basically unlurked people. If somebody wants to lurk and then type anything in chat and then show up anywhere on stream, they can just do that. They can watch the stream. If they don't type anything, they are not gonna appear on the bottom of the stream. If you want to appear there, then yeah, just type in chat. Or you can also, I'm pretty sure you can also use the stream avatars panel under the stream, below the stream, and just control your character. And if you like do that regularly, it will prevent the avatar to disappear. If that makes sense. But yeah, these guys almost killed the boss. Well, not almost. It went down to like 25% health. But yeah, then priest ran out of mana. Knight died because of that. And also, yeah, the boss is healing itself. Probably way too often. It recovered 1000 health, basically. Unfortunately, I cannot see the actual value of that. Why? No damage. Why is it not health restored? Probably something to do with the skill handler itself. Probably even not the skill handler, but the definition of the skill. So what's that skill? This one. No handler. So is it done through the skill actions? Wait. Here. status effect, self-heal. Yeah, it's not standard. Because of stupid AI that they have. It actually... No, it does cast it on itself. So probably I should change the way I implemented the skill to actually display the value by how much it healed. But yeah, it's very powerful. 40% total health. Oof. And here again, the real world situation would be that if you see the boss starting to cast self-heal, it's not an instant skill. It takes 3 seconds. That's probably not right. But yeah, ideally, like if you see it starting casting the heal, your goal is to stun it so it doesn't finish casting. Right? And our current scenario doesn't allow that. Even if I tie like normal monster AI to these test characters, I wouldn't be able to implement it with the current AI implementation. I need to rewrite it to make it more configurable, more intelligent. But okay, even this is super cool. Now I can like add 2 more people to the party and watch how they do that. Because even if I add 1 more person, like if I add a mage, the problem is solved. The boss is gonna be dead. Let's try that. Although I would have to hard code the skill usage for the mage. And the problem with mages is they have pretty long cooldowns, so you technically need to switch between 2 different skills at least, or you continue using, for example, Fireball to stack your Fire Mastery skill. Maybe that's a good idea. So if I add player 3, well, maybe not right now. Maybe I need to rewrite this whole command class properly and make these spawns actually configurable. Because I would like to define somewhere like in an XML file who I want to spawn into the combat instead of hard coding all of this. And then just run that XML file as a scenario. It doesn't have to include the skill usage. But what we need is we need to have zone defined there. First of all, we need to have the clock settings. We need the list of entities to spawn. Also, I'm really curious, what if I actually subscribe to Aura effects? Where are they? I don't remember. I guess I can take a look at the client sync component. Not this one, this one. Or effect applied. I think this one. Yes. It should be really easy to add another kind of entry into the log. Every time the aura ticks, I can see it. So let's add it to the observer. You just... what? I mean, okay, I think I understand. You started up your PC in your new flat, new apartment. Congrats. By the way, I think I forgot to tell you, the event is still running. I extended it until Monday. I will revert like all these changes on Monday. So you can still play if you want to. Again, this only has the trigger for the current entity. Right, wait, how do I do this? I don't know. Yeah, target ID. Okay, so I need to check that. Apply. Signal. By the way, all of these are signals. So if signal target ID equals ourselves, then we execute this event with this signal. And then we need to subscribe to that inside the command. But here is the but. We have a different structure. So I guess the best way would be to have these 5 fields as separate arguments, maybe even just strings. Yeah, that would be super easy. So string source equals empty. Let's run. Or just null. Source equals null. Wait, source. Target. Skill. Effect kind. Value. And that's it. And then we just append those. Always. Wait, I need that for now. Because here We need action source, that, target, action skill, effect kind, and the value. A little bit not nice, but it's much better this way than our print method. It's still like a dummy method. I will most likely get rid of it and have separate methods, but for now it's gonna be fine. And all of that is gonna be appended always. Okay. And then here we just adapt this. So we have source target. We have aura. Skill effect kind. Have those. We just need to figure out what kind of skill we just output status effect name. So it's gonna be aura status effect to string. Do we have proper override for that? No, I guess. So I status effect status effect. Do I have to string here? No, I don't. This is an abstract class. I don't remember how this works. Let's take a look at the table. Right, that's skill. That's skill table. Status effect table. Functional status effect. We don't read the name. Well, I guess we can start reading the name from the table. Should be really easy to do. Oh, we can even put it there. Status effect, ID. Come on. Name. Yeah, that's just the name column. But I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere else. Where is it? Status effect. There's battle attribute status effect. This one needs to be changed. Doesn't need to have a name. Okay. Now here we can implement the toString method. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, now I can just output that. Should theoretically work. Okay. Do we have any kind of status effects here now? No. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if we add a mage to the combat, which I really want to try, we will end up... And we start like firing firebolts. Okay, so I need a test mage. $105. And we just start spamming player tree to boss. Where are learn skills? Skills. Character ID. And what is the AD of Fireball? Five one. Level 4, I guess, is available. Yeah, level 4 is available for this mage. And we just try to spam it every time. No, we need to cast it. Yeah, that's another thing. It's hard to hard code these skills. Probably it would be easier to implement this properly without hard coding. So instead of healing, we do fireball. Player 3. We don't need this condition. We need this skill AD. Into the boss. So we cast fireball from player 3 to boss. This is the cast. Okay, should be good, in theory. In theory, that should be that easy. There we go. 𝙽𝙴𝚁𝙸𝚂 didn't die. Interesting. But okay, let's take a look properly. What's going on here? I was pretty sure that the boss is gonna die. Enchanter doesn't use anything. Why? Yeah, the enchanter didn't use any skills. So what the hell, this is wrong. Oh, I see. It was trying to use a different skill. Yeah, it's harder to keep track of all these potential issues when I hard code stuff. There we go. The boss is dead. Okay, now let's take a look at the full history. Okay, we have the status effects now. So here, for example, 𝙽𝙴𝚁𝙴, boss target, status effect burning, 31 damage. Okay, so now the boss is burning. The combat lasted 1.5 minutes. And the knight is pretty healthy. Priest doesn't have mana though, so I'm pretty sure. Well, I think it would be enough for one more heal from the priest, and then the party would wipe out. But yeah, now they did kill the 𝙽𝙴𝚁𝙀. And it did heal itself one time. What's going on here? Yeah, I guess one time. Okay, so even this kind of draft of a simulation is already super helpful. Now I can see what's going on without actually trying to fight the 𝙽𝙴 in 3 windows. Now I can create a party of 3 players, virtual players, and just simulate the fight, which is awesome. The problem is we don't have the summons, and this whole thing is a very rough draft. But it's something, at least. I can see everyone's health, I can see everyone's mana, I can see that the enchanter ran out of mana. And couldn't cast Fireball anymore. Yeah. So yeah, enchanter did run out of mana in the middle of the combat. Even though it was just casting Fireball, Fireball, Fireball. But that's, again, a viable solution because you have the Fire Mastery passive that actually increases the damage. And it's probably dealing more damage this way than if you'd swap between multiple skills. Also, you would run out of mana much faster with multiple skills. So this is probably even the proper way to fight as an enchanter in a party. Also, the damage is nice. Also, yeah, this is just very dumb script. The knight just does auto attacks and nothing else, and doesn't react to the 𝙽𝙴 casting the self-heal. And the priest is only healing, not doing anything else. So yeah, we need to figure out how to make it more intelligent. And the best way would probably be to actually write an AI for our characters. So we can actually run them in the same way we run the monsters. Like here I just added the boss 𝙽𝙴. It loaded its default AI, and it just faults normally. I need to do something like that for the characters as well. But even this is already a great start. And I really like this table. So if we take a look again at the simulate command, we can more or less already convert it to something proper, not just a draft. If we create some kind of scenario XML file that describes what's going on. So it needs to describe the zone instance that's going to be created, which is zone instance prototype, template, or the default template, time scale, zone instance settings. It needs to describe every entity, which could be a monster or a character, or I guess NPC, which includes monsters. We don't care if that's a monster or not, it's just an NPC. So either NPC or a player. Subscribe to the events. Define watched values, watched attributes. Do we even need that? Maybe we can just hard code that for every entity. No, we don't need every entity. For example, if we have like 10 summons, we don't care about their health, to be honest. So yeah, we need to somehow define the attributes that we want to watch in the results and file. Technically, we don't even need to subscribe to those attributes, because we have a better system now. Then we just start the tick loop, the game loop. This is gonna stay basically the same, except the advance is gonna be different, or configurable rather. We update everything. Again, that's basically the same, except here we loop over all the spawned entities. This is gonna be completely gone. We need to get rid of that and replace this with the proper AI. We need to define exit condition or multiple exit conditions, like the maximum runtime and if any of the entities die, I guess, or some of them die. Not sure. So yeah, main thing is this AI needs to be, well, this is not AI, this is just dumb meshing of a single skill. This needs to be removed from here and implemented as a proper AI. And the whole thing needs to be like properly rewritten with like an optional output for the file. And for that, I need to properly implement the command line thing. Okay. But for now, I'm satisfied with what I have. This is already very useful. But yeah, Still need to work on that. So I think this is gonna be enough for today. There's gonna be a little bit shorter stream. I'm already tired. My throat hurts from all the talking. I'm not used to long streams. I guess like I had a too long of a break. So we're gonna continue next time. Not sure when it's gonna be. Still trying to figure out my new schedule. But for today, this is gonna be it. Let's see, do we raid anybody? Let's raid Plane Shift. Right, so yeah, this is it. Already nice progress. I like it. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the way to go, like with visualizing the combat, because this can be exported as a proper CSV file, and then I can pull it into LibreOffice or any other office tool, add some kind of graphs that I want or whatever. It's super nice. And yeah, it shows basically everything. I really like it. So yeah, this is gonna be it for today. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Thanks to all the familiar faces in the chat. And hope to see you next time. Have a nice day and bye-bye.